It was the trial that stopped America in its tracks. A beloved sports icon accused of a brutal double murder. Blood, fame, race, and a mysterious glove. What really happened behind those courtroom doors? This isn't fiction. It's the real trial of O.J. Simpson. And the truth is more shocking than any movie. June 13th, 1994. A quiet and upscale neighborhood in Brentwood, Los Angeles, becomes the center of a grisly murder scene that would send shockwaves across the world. Shortly after midnight, the lifeless bodies of Nicole Brown Simpson and her friend, Ronald Goldman, are discovered outside Nicole's condominium. Nicole, the ex-wife of famed NFL running back and Hollywood actor O.J. Simpson, is found near the front gate, lying in a pool of blood. She has been stabbed multiple times, her throat slashed so deeply it nearly decapitated her. Nearby, Ronald Goldman, a 25-year-old restaurant waiter and family friend, is also found dead, his body covered in knife wounds that suggest he tried to fight off the killer. The crime scene is chaotic and brutal. Investigators quickly find evidence that would become central to the upcoming case. A single leather glove lies near the body. There are bloody footprints leading away from the scene, and blood is discovered on the back gate. A trail of blood is found in Nicole's driveway, and a matching glove is later discovered at O.J. Simpson's Rockingham estate. A bloody sock bearing Nicole's DNA is also found in O.J.'s bedroom. The police begin piecing the evidence together and quickly focus on a primary suspect, Orenthal James Simpson. O.J., who had a documented history of domestic violence against Nicole, becomes the prime suspect within hours. When questioned, his behavior is evasive. He is scheduled to turn himself in on June 17, 1994. However, instead of appearing at the police station, he disappears. A warrant is issued for his arrest, and the LAPD begins searching for one of the most recognizable men in America. The story is no longer just a murder investigation, it becomes a national obsession. The media flocks to the crime scene. Reporters broadcast live updates, and speculation grows. Who could commit such a savage act? And could it really be committed by O.J. Simpson, the beloved football star, actor, and public figure? The brutality of the murders and O.J.'s rapid descent from hero to suspect captures the public imagination like no other crime before it. As public curiosity grows, so does the pressure on law enforcement and prosecutors. For many, this is a clear-cut case. The evidence seems overwhelming, and the suspect has a motive, opportunity, and violent history. Yet, others see something different. Beginning of a racially charged legal battle that would divide the country. The stage is set for what will become the most publicized trial in American history. The people demand justice. The media demands access. And O.J. Simpson, once America's sweetheart, is now at the center of a brutal double homicide investigation.
June 17, 1994. Just days after the murders of Nicole Brown Simpson and Ronald Goldman, the nation is stunned again. O.J. Simpson, who was expected to turn himself in to the Los Angeles Police Department, is now a fugitive. When authorities arrive to arrest him, they find a note instead. The note, written by Simpson, reads like a suicide letter. He proclaims his innocence, but also apologizes and thanks people in his life. Panic sets in. Later that afternoon, The white Ford Bronco belonging to Simpson's longtime friend and former teammate, Al Cowlings, is spotted on a Southern California freeway. O.J. is in the back seat, holding a .357 Magnum revolver to his head. Cowlings are driving and communicating with police via cell phone. He tells the officers that O.J. is suicidal and that he just wants to go home. What follows is one of the most surreal events in American television history. News helicopters capture the slow-speed police pursuit as it moves northbound on Interstate 405. Over 20 police cars trail the Bronco. Television networks break into scheduled programming to show the chase live. An estimated 95 million people across the country tune in to watch, making it one of the most viewed television events in U.S. history. Crowds gather on freeway overpasses and ramps, cheering and waving signs. Some chant, "Go O.J." The chase continues for more than an hour. Winding through freeways and city streets, Cowlings drives carefully, obeying traffic laws. Police make no attempt to force the Bronco to stop, fearful of triggering a suicide. O.J. reportedly has family photos, a passport, a disguise, and thousands of dollars in cash inside the vehicle. Authorities believe he was planning to flee or take his own life. Eventually, the Bronco arrives at Simpson's Brentwood estate. A large crowd has gathered outside. Police negotiate with Simpson for nearly an hour before he finally surrenders. He exits the vehicle at 8:50 p.m., nearly 6 hours after disappearing. He is immediately arrested and taken into custody. O.J. Simpson is formally charged with 2 counts of first-degree murder. The media frenzy explodes. The televised car chase becomes iconic, and O.J.'s fall from grace is complete. He is no longer the charismatic athlete or beloved public figure. He is now an accused double murderer. The Bronco chase sets the tone for the trial to come. America is deeply divided. Some believe in O.J.'s innocence. Others are convinced of his guilt. But one thing is certain, this will not be an ordinary trial. This will be the trial of the century.
January 24th, 1995. The trial of the century officially begins in the Los Angeles County Superior Court. O.J. Simpson pleads not guilty. The courtroom is packed with reporters, cameras, and legal experts. The world is watching. The prosecution team, led by Deputy District Attorneys Marcia Clark and Christopher Darden, believes the case is strong. They present a timeline of O.J.'s movements, forensic evidence, and a history of domestic abuse. The motive: rage, jealousy, and control. Blood evidence is central to their case. They claim Simpson left a trail of his own blood at the crime scene. On the back gate and inside his Bronco, a bloody glove was found at Simpson's Rockingham estate, which matched the one at the crime scene. A sock found in O.J.'s bedroom tested positive for Nicole's blood. But O.J. Simpson is not without powerful allies. His defense team, dubbed the Dream Team, is made up of some of the most famous legal minds in America: Johnny Cochran, Robert Shapiro, F. Lee Bailey, Alan Dershowitz, Barry Scheck, and Robert Kardashian. They attacked the prosecution on multiple fronts: faulty procedures, racial bias, and mishandled evidence. They focus much of their criticism on LAPD Detective Mark Foreman. The defense accuses Foreman of racism and alleges he planted evidence to frame O.J. They also challenge the chain of custody of the blood samples, arguing that samples were mishandled or contaminated. The defense introduces the idea of reasonable doubt at every opportunity. They raise questions about every piece of forensic evidence, casting doubt on its reliability. The jury is subjected to hours of technical testimony on DNA, blood spatter, and lab protocols. As the weeks go by, the courtroom drama intensifies. The prosecution brings in 911 tapes of Nicole calling for help. They show photos of her bruised face from earlier incidents of abuse. The defense counters with evidence of O.J.'s loving relationship with his children and denials of violent behavior. The trial is broadcast daily, with media analysis dominating television and newspapers. Every word, every expression, every cross-examination becomes fuel for public debate. The nation is divided, not just by the facts, but by race, class, and celebrity culture. By the time both sides rest their case, more than 150 witnesses have testified. Over 1,000 pieces of evidence have been presented. The stage is now set for one of the most dramatic moments in American legal history.
One pivotal moment in the O.J. Simpson trial changed everything. During the prosecution's case, they introduced the infamous bloody glove as key evidence. One glove had been found at the crime scene. Its matching pair was found at O.J.'s Brentwood estate. Both gloves were soaked in blood and believed to have been worn by the killer. Prosecutor Christopher Darden made a bold decision. He asked Simpson to try on the glove in front of the jury. This was meant to be a dramatic moment to connect Simpson directly to the murders. But what happened next stunned everyone. Simpson struggled to put on the glove. He winced, pulled, tugged, but the glove didn't seem to fit. His fingers wouldn't go in all the way. His hand looked too large. He held it up for the courtroom and the cameras. Then came the moment that would define the defense's argument. Johnny Cochran stood before the jury and declared, "If it doesn't fit, you must acquit." It was a line that echoed around the world. The visual impact of Simpson trying on the glove and Cochran's catchy phrase planted a seed of doubt. The prosecution tried to explain that the glove had shrunk from being soaked in blood, or that Simpson had been wearing latex gloves underneath. Adding to the defense's momentum, they introduced audio tapes of Detective Mark Foreman. Using racial slurs during an interview, Foreman had previously testified that he had never used such language. When confronted with the recordings, he invoked the Fifth Amendment and refused to answer further questions. This severely damaged the prosecution's credibility. The defense used Foreman as a symbol of systemic racism and police misconduct. They argued that the investigation was tainted, that evidence may have been planted, and that Simpson had been targeted because of his race. The glove demonstration and Foreman's tapes were turning points. The jury, already exposed 2 months of conflicting evidence, now faced serious questions about the integrity of the investigation. The defense didn't need to prove O.J.'s innocence. They only had to establish reasonable doubt. The courtroom drama reached its peak. Tensions were high. The media coverage was relentless. Public opinion became increasingly polarized. Many African Americans viewed the trial as a test of the justice system's fairness, while others saw it as a tragic failure to hold a murderer accountable. With the trial heading toward its conclusion, the glove incident remained the most memorable and controversial moment. It symbolized the power of performance in the courtroom and shifted the narrative in O.J.'s favor.
October 3rd, 1995. After 9 months of proceedings, 150 witnesses, and thousands of exhibits, the jury deliberates for just 4 hours. At 10 a.m., the verdict is ready. Courtroom cameras are rolling. The nation holds its breath. O.J. Simpson stands as the clerk reads, "We, the jury, in the above entitled action, find the defendant, Orenthal James Simpson, not guilty of the crime of murder." Nicole Brown's mother gasps and begins to sob. Ronald Goldman's family looks stunned. Cheers erupt from crowds outside the courthouse and in urban neighborhoods across the country. In white suburban communities, disbelief and outrage take hold. The verdict splits the nation along racial lines. A poll conducted immediately afterward shows that the majority of white Americans believe O.J. was guilty, while most African Americans believe he was innocent or wrongly prosecuted. The jury's decision was based on doubt. Doubt about the forensic evidence, about the handling of the crime scene, and about the integrity of law enforcement. The defense had successfully raised enough questions about police bias, contamination, and misconduct to sway the jurors. Though acquitted in criminal court, Simpson was later found liable for wrongful death in a civil trial brought by the Goldman and Brown families. He was ordered to pay $33.5 million in damages. He never fully paid. The O.J. Simpson trial became more than just a courtroom proceeding. It became a cultural flashpoint, exposing deep divisions in American society. It challenged public perceptions of justice, race, fame, and the media. It marked a turning point in how America viewed its legal system. In the years that followed, the trial continued to be analyzed, dramatized, and discussed. Documentaries, books, and television shows revisited the evidence and the personalities involved. But the question at its core remains unanswered for many. Did justice truly prevail? The People v. O.J. Simpson remains one of the most controversial legal cases in American history. A trial that blurred the line between courtroom and theater, fact and perception, guilt and freedom.
This script is based on the real trial of People v. O.J. Simpson, 1995, one of the most controversial and watched court cases in American history. This is not fiction. Subscribe for more real courtroom stories that changed the world.